Sign up to speak at the public hearing and would like to, just raise your hand and our town clerk will give you the form. Okay? And if you decide later, even if you haven't signed up for the form, you can raise your hand and speak. So. Language for the injunction on that other property. Okay. I'd like to welcome everybody to our town board meeting, and I'd like to ask our clerk, Christian Sampson, to call the roll.
Councilman Ullman.
Here.
Councilman Friedman.
Here.
Councilwoman Charles. Councilman Deputy Supervisor Withers.
Present.
Supervisor St. Lawrence.
Here, I'd like to ask Councilman Ullman to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we open up the public hearing, we have two items on the personnel that we're going to take first. So I'd like to ask our Director of Personnel, Linda, we're going to do 3 C, D, and E.
3 C, D, and E?
C, D, and E right now.
Okay.
So our Director of Personnel, Linda Condon.
Item 3C is a resolution to appoint a senior citizen leader in the Parks and Recreation Department, Antoinette Mariel.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Antoinette, come up, please. Antoinette's worked with this your 10th year, and we want to congratulate you. Wave to the camera. Everybody at home to see you. Okay. The seniors will be watching.
The next item, 3D, is a resolution to establish the position of Recreation Facility Attendant in the Parks and Recreation Department.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
And the last item, 3E, is a resolution to appoint Nicole Plumley, Recreation Facility Attendant in the Parks and Rec Department.
Moved by
Friedman.
Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Nicole, come on up. You may recognize Nicole. She sings the Star Spangled Banner for us at the fireworks and many other occasions. Nicole has worked with us as a seasonal for 8 years, and we're so glad to have her now as a permanent employee. Congratulations, Nicole. Okay. Tonight, the there are two applicants on this public hearing, and one of the applicants sent a letter in, which I'm going to have the town clerk read, asking to adjourn the meeting to the next meeting of the town board, to adjourn the public hearing to that time. And they are still working on their submittal for their Part 3. I'll have the clerk read that, I'll have our town attorney read that. But we are opening up the public hearing again tonight. We're going to put everything onto the record, anything that people want to say. We will take no action of any kind, and we will just adjourn the public hearing to the next time as well. We'll continue the public hearing open. So this is our third public hearing on this issue, and we will have a fourth, maybe a fifth. And, but the other applicant that's here, and the Collishaw piece is here, I believe, and we have our town planner here, and they'll make a presentation on their piece as well. So I'll have our town clerk read into record that and any other reports that you may have received since our last public hearing.
Would you read it
Mr.
for me,
Klein.
Mike?
Absolutely, Mr. Sampson. Around noon today, we received a letter from Mr. Carbon, who's the attorney for one of the two petitioners, and the letter reads as follows. It's dated January 14th, 2015, addressed to Honorable Christopher P. St. Lawrence and the members of the town board. I've just been advised that Dave Ziegler, the engineer and designer of this project, is ill with the flu and unable to participate in tonight's continued public hearing. As such, we will be unable to continue our presentation or to respond to any inquiries from members of the town board or the public. We request the hearing be put over until the next meeting of the town board so that Mr. Ziegler can recover and respond in full to inquiries from members of the town board and the public. Pascack Ridge, with its green design standards, drainage improvements, traffic improvements, 6 parks, and 10% affordable housing set aside, represents a unique opportunity to the town of Ramapo to foster housing diversity, and we look forward to continuing our conversation with the town board and the public. Very truly yours, Ryan S. Carbon. We also have, since our last public hearing, received 4 additional documents which we will deem into evidence for purposes of the hearing. The first of these is the EAF Part 2 dated December 18, 2014, and the Town Board Resolution 2014-551, which adopts it. Marked as Exhibit Number 24 is a letter from the Ramapo Police Department dated December 22, 2014. Exhibit 25 will be the report of Tracker Archaeological, Inc., dated December 2014. And finally, Exhibit Number 26, which we just received shortly before the hearing this evening, is a traffic impact study last revised on January 5th, 2015 by Harry Baker and Associates. With those exhibits deemed as part of the evidence at the hearing, we're now able to open a public hearing, and I think we invite the petitioner who is here the opportunity to speak first, and then we'll take comments from the public.
And I don't know if maybe Mr. Lang, our planner, if he wanted to make any comments about anything that he's gleaned so far on the traffic report or anything. If there's anything that jumps out at you, we'd be glad to hear it, okay? Okay. Well, I think we'll have them first. Mr. Celentano. Sure.
Is this considered
Just
to be...
state your name and
I'm
your
sorry.
title, please.
Daniel Krauscher from the town of Clarkstown, Town Attorney's Office. Are these applications considered to be separate applications? And if so, are we having two public hearings?
They are separate applications, but the study area that we asked Mr. Lang to review in response to that covers those two applications in a slightly broader area, and the hearings are joint hearings on two separate petitions.
So you're not adjourning one public hearing and continuing
No,
with the
no,
other
these are
public hearing?
the public hearing has been open since our very first public hearing, which was about, I think in November or December, and it's the same public hearing, and it will continue, and it will not be
So-
closed tonight, and it will not be adjourned, and there will be more public hearings.
So-
And the applicant will have an opportunity, if they wish, to get a copy of both the minutes and a video of tonight's hearing.
Well, when you say the applicant,
The
one of
petitioner.
the two
One of the two petitioners who asked for the adjournment will have an opportunity
So
to
there are
see.
two what I'm asking is, there's two separate petitions?
That's correct.
For a zone change?
That's
Yes,
correct.
Okay, thank
By adjacent landowners.
You're welcome, Dan.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Salentano. I'm the applicant for 171 North Pascack Road. We're the piece that is surrounded by the larger piece. You really don't know much, and I'd like to inform what we have going on here and what we plan to do. Currently, there are 3 buildings on the property. The building in the front has a studio, 1 3-bedroom apartment, 1 4-bedroom apartment. This is existing now. The side house has 2 3-bedroom apartments, and the rear dwelling has 1 bedroom apartment, 2 2-bedroom apartment, and 1 3-bedroom apartment. We proposing to take these 3 buildings down and construct 22 3-bedroom dwellings. Each dwelling would be a 30 by 35 layout, 3 stories. The first story would be a 2-car garage. The second story would have the kitchen, dining, and living room. And the third story would be the 3 bedrooms. As you can see, we have, the way it's situated now, we would not require any setback variances. We're providing 57 parking spaces where 44 is required, so we have 13 additional parking spaces. The access would be the same access point as now off of Pascack Road. We don't have one access into the property. This access would be widened and graded less steep as it is now. And so since we're taking 9 units out, adding 22, our increase is 13 units. So Pascack Road would see an increase in 13 units. Our total units per acre with the current layouts proposed would be 6 to 7 units per acre. We have 3.5 acres. 2 of the acres in the rear would be green space. We'd have a pedestrian bridge over the Pascack Brook so that the residents of these 22 units could enjoy this current green space. We will be disturbing the front, as shown, 1.5 acres. We'll be saving the majority of the trees on the site. Most of the trees are located along the brook, and we will not be disturbing any of the wetlands. The property, I submitted this plan to United Water, and they gave us a willingness to serve, and we'll submit that letter. In addition, now the sewer, we have 2 sewer mains running through our property. One is a 21-inch reinforced concrete pipe maintained by Rockland County Sewer District, number 1, and we will be connecting directly towards that. So we will not have any sewer impact on the local streets. In addition, there's an existing, actually a brand-new 24-inch line that the Rockland County Sewer District has put in that runs through our property also. That's pretty much the basic concept of what we're doing. We're trying to avoid all the environmentally sensitive areas as brought up by the public. We're trying to consolidate. It's kind of like almost an average density type of layout.
Okay, I have just one question. The footprint for each building is 30 by 35, so it's 1,050 feet for each floor. So it's 1,050 feet for the garage, 1,050 feet for that living space on the second floor, the kitchen, and then the bedrooms, 1,000 square feet upstairs.
That's
That's
correct.
consistent with all 22 buildings.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Celentano, your client petitioned the town board seeking a change to an MR12 zoning district. Would he be able to construct the same plan if it was rezoned to MR8 instead of MR12?
Yes, we again, as, if you look at the current zones in the area, the west zone is, adjoining the Lamar, is Spring Valley, which is a PRD zone, and they allow 18 units an acre. To the south is Clarkstown. Their multifamily units along that are RG2, which is garden apartments, and MF2, which is 9 to 13 units an acre. We're proposing 6 to 7 units an acre, so an MR8 would fit in this category.
Okay, I have a follow-up question, what you just asked, counsel.
Sure.
You know the number of acreage, you know how 22 buildings, why do you say 6 to 7? Is it 6.5? Is it?
Yeah, 6.5.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's between 6 and 7? Because even if it were rezoned to an MR8, this board would have the ability to restrict in an MR8 to 6.5, or a number less than 8. So I just wanted you to be aware of that as well.
Right, we looked through all the environmental considerations, and we feel that in order to really develop this property responsibly, 22 units is the most we can get.
Okay, and I don't know if you were here for the other applicant, but there's a road there that originally was accessing into the property, which we are not allowing, or they've redesigned it. And there was a question at the last public hearing as to whether or not the construction would be allowed vehicles would be allowed to go through those neighborhoods, which we would have the ability to restrict that couldn't happen. Are you accessing this just off of the main road for the
Yeah.
construction aspect? I understand you're going to have 2 acres in the back that are green space, but for the construction, you're not going on any of the other local roads?
No, sir. Everything's off of Pascack. There's an existing entrance now that services the existing 9 units there now. We'll be using that entrance, just widening it a little bit, and also lessen the severity of the slope. Right now, it's sloping down at 10%. We're going to take it at the 5% to make it a little more safer.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Celentano, will you provide us with a copy of the map that you're referring to so we can
Yes, I'm
put that
going
into
to
the record?
submit. I worked a little bit on the Part 3 on our end, and I'll submit a formal Part 3 and this revised map also with a little more detail.
Okay, thank you.
Right, the 9 units there, one of the things that was brought to our attention is those 9 units there that are non-conforming. They're too close to the road, so we're going to take those down and then construct all 22 new units.
Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time, we have some people that have signed up, so we'll go through that list first. And I'm going to allow some of the elected officials that are here to speak first. And I'd like to ask the Deputy Supervisor for the town of Clarkstown to come up first, Shirley Oscar.
Well, good evening, Supervisor Lawrence and members of the town board, and good evening to the public. My name is Shirley Lasker. I'm both a resident of Clarkstown and a member of the town board. Supervisor Gromack couldn't be here tonight, so I'm here in his stead as deputy supervisor. I'm here with Deputy Town Attorney Dan Krashower, who's our attorney with the Planning Board, to express the town's concern over the proposed Pascack Ridge development. And I just see my colleague, George Homan, Councilman George Homan, is here as well.
And we'll let Mr. Holman speak next. Go ahead, Cheryl.
And I have some comments, I guess, to add to or emphasize from the last time I was here. And it has been said before, but I guess it's worth saying again, that the town of Clarkstown opposes the amendment of the Town of Ramapo zoning map and comprehensive plan for the proposed development of the Pascack Ridge subdivision on the grounds that the proposed development of this land at a density of 12 units an acre of multifamily would result in overdevelopment, be out of character with the surrounding area, and have the potential to adversely impact the street network, school system, water resources, and natural environment, all shared with the residents of the town of Clarkstown. Your neighboring Rockland municipalities agree. The Rockland County Planning Department agrees. Municipalities in New Jersey agree. Your residents agree, and our residents agree. This should not be passed. We ask that you not pursue this, that you consider the broader implications of your actions, and that you instead undertake an update of your comprehensive plan. Truly look at your community, at our county, our home, and how development of Ramapo affects us all. But if you insist on pursuing this comprehensive plan and zoning amendment, we implore you to comply with state law, issue a positive declaration pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and require the preparation of an environmental impact statement. Studies may have been performed for this project, but who has reviewed them? Are they all the studies that would have been required in a public scoping? Have you solicited comments from the state DEC, county health, county drainage, just to name a few? Have you responded to all of the questions from the people who have come here for 3 very cold nights with their concerns? This is what an EIS is for, to take a hard look, to answer the tough questions, to be thorough, open, and informed. That happens to be our primary responsibilities as elected officials, to serve the public, our public, and I, for one, take it very seriously. In Clarkstown, we've worked very hard to protect the quality of life of our residents. We have a well-thought-out, comprehensive plan that doesn't just sit on a shelf. We work every day to implement it and to ensure that every proposed development is consistent with its vision. We understand that the town, and the county for that matter, has limited resources in terms of water, roadway infrastructure, and drainage capacity. That is why we've tried to limit high-density developments and preserve as much open space as possible. The development at issue tonight is extremely dense and directly adjacent to our border. I'm certain that if the town of Clarkstown chose to entertain an application such as this, the board would issue a positive declaration under SECA, and a full environmental impact statement would be prepared. That being said, Supervisor, I'll leave it up to you. If we can hand it off to Dan Krashower, our planning board attorney, or if you'd prefer to have the elected officials from Clarkstown area speak first, that's up to you.
Why don't we have your other board member speak, Mr. Holman, and then we'll have Dan, and then we'll ask Mr. Carey if he'd like to.
Okay. Well, thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Absolutely, Shirley.
Good evening, Supervisor St. Lawrence and members of the board and members of the public. And before I go into my written comments, I do want to thank you. This is the third opportunity that I've been able to speak. It's highly unusual when an elected official in one community goes and speaks at a public hearing in another community. And I must say that both you and the members of your board have been extremely respectful, and I appreciate the courtesy in allowing me to voice my opinion and my statement. Thank you again for allowing me to speak here. As a councilman for the town of Clarkstown, I'm speaking on behalf of my constituents and also as a concerned resident living in Nanuet. Certainly the closest member in proximity on the town board in Clarkstown to the proposed development, less than half a mile away. And I reiterate that I'm opposed to any zoning change proposed by the developers of the Pascack Ridge project, given its numerous environmental constraints. The town of Ramapo, as all municipalities do under general municipal law, has an obligation to its residents to develop and adhere to an overall plan for housing, density, and distribution that is fair to all persons. The town of Ramapo's comprehensive plan was extremely well done and thought out and was adopted in 2004 and has designated this land area as R15, or medium-density housing, noting an average density of roughly 3 to 4 dwellings per acre. The town of Ramapo is now considering and has before it a proposed change of the zoning to accommodate over 250 units in an area that is well acquainted with significant environmental and geographical challenges. I've spoken extensively with residents in the surrounding community who will be adversely impacted by the proposed overdevelopment. The issues raised include drainage, visual impact, steep slopes, and a host of other environmental concerns. Numerous residents in the adjoining area have been negatively impacted during many weather events from flooding and other concerns. I was startled to hear the comments from Leonard Jackson concerning the drainage issues at a prior meeting. When I quote him, "The subject area consists of only 1% of the overall drainage basin of Pascack Brook. This significantly misses the point. The proposed overdevelopment will impact the adjoining property owners in a very negative way. These property owners have faced very many previous and numerous flooding issues, and the mitigation proposed does not address the issue at hand. Moreover, a larger question exists that must be addressed. New York State law is very clear. In order to appropriately evaluate the merits of the increased density in this or any other area, the town must study the entirety of the town, not just the subject area under its zoning laws. The town is in conflict with this specific obligation under its adopted comprehensive plan in this regard. If any approval is granted without taking this required step, it will likely be considered spot zoning, and as other areas were not considered, as more potentially viable options, and would face a serious challenge should injunctive relief be sought by interested and involved parties. As I offered in prior comments, the town of Ramapo has no obligation to even hear this application, and the developer has no right to an approval or even a hearing on this matter. However, if the town of Ramapo does proceed, it must consider what is in the best interest of all of its residents and make land use decisions in accord with that dictum. Moreover, the comprehensive plan of 2004 outlines 8 specific criteria as a rationale for a zone change, and these are outlined clearly in the disapproval letter of the county planning department. As one looks at these criteria, it is obvious that this development and the property itself do not meet the criteria, and the proposal should be denied. Moreover, I would suggest that the town of Ramapo, if it feels it must proceed, that it must first move for an update of its comprehensive plan before allowing this or any other such dramatic zone change to occur. In so doing, Ramapo would be forced to consider its housing needs for all of its residents in its totality, for all groups and all individuals in a holistic and comprehensive manner. Without taking steps and considering all factors, this would be nothing more than spot zoning, and without any clear benefit, as is required in the final analysis, to grant the zone change. Further, I'd like to go on record to note some of the specific objections concerning the site and the impact that it will have, and I'll submit my comments for the record. The project is essentially part of a larger issue facing our community, namely overdevelopment, which has exacerbated environmental issues and impacted related services, including fire and emergency services, water, school districts, and finally, the overall deterioration of the quality of life that results from increased traffic, pollution, noise, and a host of other items. The land in the proposed area is constrained by numerous issues and factors. These include steep slopes with a narrow ridge of relatively flat land that quickly drops off down the Pascack Road. The Pascack Brook runs through the lower section of the property and has already a known source of flooding within the town of Clarkstown and within Ramapo. Orange and Rockland easements exist on the property with high-tension power lines. The sewer district has an easement that comes within mere feet of the proposed dwelling units. The property has little access to appropriate roads and does not meet the specific criteria as outlined in the comprehensive plan for road access for this multifamily overdevelopment project. In fact, the County Planning Department, in its disapproval, notes this fact, citing the lack of available sidewalks for walking to the nearest shopping points as well. It also notes that the nearest shopping is over half a mile away. These factors all indicate how poorly planned this proposal is and begs the question, was there no better site for this type of development in the entire town of Ramapo? Certainly, if the town were to undertake a full update of its comprehensive plan, it could answer that question. Yet sadly, that has not occurred. It's a response to a request from a developer for a benefit that will only inure to the developer, not the general public. Specifically, if the town follows its obligation to review the entire comprehensive plan, I'm confident that this area would not warrant a downzoning of this type, and perhaps other areas would be considered that would be better suited to meet the needs of all of the residents of the town of Ramapo. This, in my opinion, is what needs to be done at this site, and this site is not appropriate for the type of development that is proposed. The current plan also lacks many of the required 8 specific items that I cited to justify the zone change that your own law requires. There's no access to a state or a county road, which is a requirement. The already overburdened local roads in the immediate area are not suitable to handle the increased vehicle or pedestrian traffic and the lack of sidewalks. The requirement for parking is not met and would require the granting of a variance of 31%. Building setback requirements are not met, and drainage issues are minimized, as I cited earlier in my statement. These all pale in comparison to the issue of the overall location for development of this density. Any one of the surrounding neighbors who have been faced with flooding, traffic, and other serious issues now can tell you that this will not only become exacerbated by this project for them, but it will clearly not be a benefit if it's approved. And this is just such a terrible location to consider for this project. Therefore, given the adverse impacts and more importantly, given the lack of a comprehensive review as is required under the law as to the actual public benefit that this development would provide to the citizens of Ramapo, I ask that you deny this application and move to the development of a new comprehensive plan that will evaluate the land use needs of the town in their totality. That would be more appropriate, that would be the most appropriate avenue to pursue to determine if this type of housing is needed. If so, where it would be most ideally located. In any event, it can't be here given the aforementioned issues and environmental concerns. Finally, under seeker, the town must answer all the questions asked and address all the points raised to date, and this hasn't happened from the developer or from their consultants or frankly from the town. The town must complete a full review, and given that the applicant themselves have indicated that this will have a significant environmental impact, a positive declaration under seeker, if this does proceed, not only for the project but also for the change of the comprehensive plan, must occur. In closing, it's, again, just to summarize, it's highly unusual for an elected official to go to a neighboring municipality and offer these comments. But in the prior meetings, the 2 meetings that I've been here and spoken, I've raised these concerns on behalf of my constituents and on behalf of the people of Ramapo as well. I'm here tonight again to raise these concerns, but I again want to thank you for your courteousness and for your professionalism, not only from the supervisor but from the members of the board and from your staff. This, after all, this proposal, will have a significant impact. And I also want to thank you for your courteousness, even after I proposed the town potentially going to hire outside counsel to protect the rights of our citizens. You've been very courteous to me in listening to my statement. I'll summarize and conclude with this. You need to deny this applicant and this proposal. I would respectfully submit and start over with a review and an update of your comprehensive plan so that you can identify what exactly needs to be done within the town of Ramapo to meet the housing needs for all of your residents, not placing this overdevelopment in an environmentally sensitive neighborhood that will detrimentally impact many, many residents in multiple municipalities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holman. And I want to thank you for your respectfulness and your courtesy and your professionalism as well. Thank you. Mr. Kreshow. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Carey. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Supervisor. Before I use my prepared statement, I did want to say I'm a little disappointed in the turnout tonight. I do think there was some confusion. I think folks thought that the meeting was canceled tonight, the public hearing would be pushed, and I think the fact that there's two applicants, maybe we could put that on the website, because I do think this room would be packed if that...
We didn't say that there wasn't going to be a hearing tonight to anyone, just so you know. We
No,
received that letter at 4:30, 5 o'clock today.
Yeah, somehow people got that impression that this was going to be pushed. So, again, thank you for, this
Absolutely.
is my second time here, and I do thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Chris Carey. I am the minority leader of the Rockland County Legislature. I'm a legislator for District 9. I live in Bardonia. I represent constituents both in Clarkstown as well as Ramapo. So, as both a Rockland County legislator speaking on behalf of my constituents in the towns of Clarkstown and Ramapo, and as a concerned resident, I am adamantly opposed to any zoning change proposed for the area targeted by the developers of the Pascack Ridge project. The town has an obligation to its residents to develop and adhere to an overall plan for housing density and distribution that is fair and sensible for all. The town of Ramapo's most recent comprehensive plan was adopted in 2004 and has this land area designated as R15 medium-density housing, noting an average density for that designation of roughly 3 to 4 dwellings per acre. The town is now considering changing the zoning to accommodate up to 294 units on a land parcel that is fraught with environmental and geographical challenges. Moreover, in order to appropriately evaluate the merits of increased density in this area, the town must study the entire town, not just the subject area. The town is in conflict with this obligation to the comprehensive plan. If approval is granted here, it will appear to be spot zoning, as other areas were not considered as more potentially viable options. Therefore, the town has no obligation to even hear this application, and the developer has no right to an approval or even a hearing. Nonetheless, I would like to go on record to note some of the many objections I have regarding the site, the density, and the impact it will have on the area. The project essentially hits upon every one of the major concerns and issues facing Rockland County today: overdevelopment, environmental issues, school district funding, water and waste management, and quality of life. Let's start with looking at why the town chose this particular site for development. The land along Ewing Avenue is steeply sloped with narrow ridge of relatively flat land that quickly drops off, steadily descends down to Pascack Road. The Pascack Brook runs through the lower half of the property and is already a known source of flooding in the town of Clarkstown. There is an Orange and Rockland easement on the property in place due to the presence of high-tension power line towers. There is sewer district easement that comes within 5 feet of dwelling units as currently proposed in the building plans. The property has little access to main roads to account for the comings and goings of its residents. There are no sidewalks available for walking to the nearest shopping points, which are up to a half mile away from some of the units. There was no better site for this type of development in the entire town of Ramapo. Surely there would be if the town had followed its obligation to review the entire comprehensive plan. That is what needs to be done, as this site is clearly ill-suited for this type of development. The current plan also lacks some of the required specifications for multifamily housing. There is no access to a state or county road, which is a requirement. The narrow local roads that surround the property are just not equipped to handle the increased vehicle or pedestrian traffic. Last I checked, the county had not received a copy of the traffic study done for the town report. The plans do not meet the requirement for 2 parking spots per dwelling, as there are only 422 spots for 294 units. This would require the granting of a variance of 31% to override the requirement. 24 of the buildings do not meet the separation requirement of 30 feet. These, however, are minor issues compared to the main ones regarding the poor overall location for a development of this size and density. Anyone driving by this parcel of land can tell you that's a bad idea. Respectfully, given the adverse impacts and perhaps more importantly, the lack of a comprehensive review as to the actual public benefit to this development will provide to the citizens of Ramapo, I ask that you deny this application and move to the development of a new comprehensive plan that will evaluate the land use needs of the town in total. That would be a more appropriate avenue to pursue to determine if this type of housing is needed, and if so, where it would be most ideally located. In any event, it can't be here and it can't be now. The town of Ramapo must call for a complete environmental study pursuant to the New York State Environmental Review Act and move to re-examine the entire comprehensive plan before it can move forward with any rezoning of land such as this parcel. The Pascack Ridge project cannot go forward without having all the concerns and questions addressed by the developer. The town must recognize its obligation to protect the best interests of its residents and its neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carey. Dan, before you hold on one more. I saw that our county legislator, Lon Hofstein, came in, and I'd like to give him the opportunity to come up and speak. Lon?
Thank you, Supervisor Lawrence, members of the town board. I know you've heard a lot of messages, Councilwoman Lasker, Councilman Holman, Legislator Carey. I'm not about to reiterate all the facts. Everyone's aware of that. Today I posted a message on Facebook. I don't envy the members of the town board. It's not an easy decision. But I can tell you I'm recently elected to the Rockland County Legislature. I represent North New City and parts of Pomona, and I'm new to the political situation. But I'm very well aware of the fact that as elected officials, we're here to represent all the people. And when I read over the information that has been submitted to me, it's clear there's a great deal of concern by the citizens of the Ramapo and adjoining communities. And there seems to be levels of doubt as to whether this is the most prudent approach to take. So I just say, on behalf of the residents, we're here to serve all the people. And if there's so much question going on about a project like this, it's time we take a step back and reevaluate, listen to what the experts are saying, listen to the people, and say maybe this is not the right thing to do.
Thank you. Thank you, Lon. Mr. Crashaw.
Okay, there's not much left for me to say after that, but first off, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, public, thank you. I wish Washington actually worked as well as this process appears to be working, and that people listened to each other in a respectful way, and that the bipartisanship that's being shown here is really refreshing, and I think could be a lesson to all. I'd like to talk about the policy aspects and the procedural aspects. And a lot of it, as I said, has already been covered by our elected representatives who have spoken. But the most important point that I think has been raised is that you did a comprehensive plan in 2004 that you provided standards for when you can entertain a zone change, and neither of these applications meet those standards. Therefore, you can't even entertain the zone change applications that are before you. Another thing that people may not realize is that the comprehensive plan amendment encompasses a larger area than just the two applications that are being spoken about, and the potential is there in the future for other homeowners, other landowners, to make application for a zone change amendment if the board were to approve this comprehensive plan amendment improperly if they were to do so. A comprehensive plan should be done utilizing an environmental assessment form. The town of Clarkstown won multiple awards for its comprehensive plan because what we did was we based our comprehensive plan as an environmental impact statement. We did it as an environmental impact statement. As Councilman Holman pointed out, you must, in order to even contemplate the applications that are before you, revisit your existing comprehensive plan and revise your entire comprehensive plan in order to even entertain the applications that are before you. I'd like to point out that since 2004, our sewer situation has not improved. Our water quality and quantity situation has not improved. Our drainage situation has not improved. The Rockland County Solid Waste Authority, as the supervisor knows, was sued by the borough of Saddle River, I believe, because
Sewer
of
district, not the
sewer
solid
district. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because of lack of capacity. This is not something that's going to reduce the effluent that will be entering into the system. Quite the opposite. And that's something that certainly needs to be addressed before you consider something as dramatic as a change which would increase the density to the extent that's being proposed by these two applications, as well as your proposed amendment to your comprehensive plan. No matter what, this is both of these actions, the applications for the zone changes as well as the change to the comprehensive plan, are type 1 actions under seeker. They absolutely require a environmental impact statement and a full consideration under seeker. Another thing that I'd like to point out is that since 2004, New York State has not only adopted stormwater management regulations, but has recently revised them and made them even stricter than they've ever been. Being that this is an environmentally sensitive area, as your original comprehensive plan pointed out, this is something that would certainly mandate a full environmental impact statement, even on its own. Town of Clarkstown adopted its comprehensive plan 5 years ago, and we're already in the process of starting to consider amending and readopting a new comprehensive plan that'll even be more stringent to take into account things such as the changes to the stormwater maintenance regulations that were recently handed down by the state of New York. So to conclude, you cannot entertain these applications. You should not entertain these applications. I'd also like to point out that it is very rare for the County Department of Planning to issue a GML which recommends an outright denial and then gets into the level of detail that the County Planning Department did. The Clarkstown Planning Board also recommended denial, and the Clarkstown Town Council, represented by members of both parties, are clearly on record as not being in favor of this. And you have members of the Rockland County Legislature who are on record as opposing this as well. I thank you for your consideration, and I ask that every speaker that follow me please keep it in the same spirit of cooperation as the speakers that came before me.
Thank you, Mr. Kaishal. The next speaker is John Noto. John?
Thank you. As a resident of Clarkstown and one that borders up against Ramapo, this project concerns me and a lot of my neighbors
Please
greatly.
state your name and address for the record.
John Noto, 3 Tilly Court, New City, New York.
Thank you.
So I have several concerns with this project, from the proper studies or lack thereof, of the disapproval from the county planning department, and to the significant negative impact surrounding the community of the bordering town of Clarkstown. Comprehensive plan or zoning ordinance has been adopted for long-term benefit of the community and the character, which is now proposed to be changed significantly to alter the character of that area. Not only of Ramapo, but also of the town of Clarkstown and the quality of life for those residents as well. There was a publication from the New York State Department of State called the Zoning and Comprehensive Plan. In the section, Regional Housing and the Comprehensive Plan, it states, there must be a balancing of the local desire to maintain the status quo within a community and the greater public interest that regional needs be met. Although we are aware of the traditional view that zoning acts only upon the property lying within the borders of the board's territorial limits, it must be recognized that zoning often has a substantial impact beyond the boundaries of the municipality. Thus, the court, in examining an ordinance, should take into consideration not only the general welfare of the residents of the zoning township, but also consider the effects of the ordinance on the neighboring communities. This subdivision will have a significant negative impact not only on the town of Ramapo, but also on Clarkstown, negatively impacting its character, integrity, and quality of life. The County Planning Board has disapproved in writing of the changes to the comprehensive plan with respect to this proposed subdivision. The reasons cited were increased congestion, inadequate vehicle access, inadequate parking, utility constraints, sanitary sewer limitations, and the potential flooding of the area. They questioned the density of the housing sought and the negative environmental impacts associated with it. The questions that need to be answered to ensure that the town has fully investigated the change to the comprehensive plan are: what is the public benefit to this project in this area? What is the benefit to the area in total and its surrounding communities? What is the environmental impact to this area and to the bordering town of Clarkstown? What is the benefit to the town of Ramapo to create this housing in this specific location as opposed to some other location within the town of Ramapo that's more appropriate for its use? What other sites were considered? What is the density going to be in the end? We heard a change tonight from what it was originally going to be. What is the impact on Clarkstown, obviously? How does this comprehensive plan change affect the bordering town and its comprehensive plan? Until all these questions are answered by the board, a comprehensive plan should not be changed or ordinance be rewritten. And I implore the board to hold this meeting open until all those questions are answered. And I'd like to enter this into the record as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Noto. The next speaker is Donna Drygas from Nanuet. Donna? I did sign that.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
allowing me to speak. I also spoke at the first meeting. My name is Donna Drygas. I live at 15 Carriage Lane in Nanuet, New York. And for the past at least 15 years, I've been very active with Keep Rockland Beautiful and cleaning up the Pascack Brook after the dam broke at Lake Hyunga. So I have some questions. And I was a little upset at the last meeting. Ryan Carbon, who is the attorney for the builder, announced that he was annoyed because there was so much misinformation going out public. And we're not, the public here is not engineers. We don't know how to read the prospectus. We don't even know where it is. So if you'd be so kind as to tell us where we can read up on this information, so we know we can get those answers if they're not presented here. But a lot of the misunderstanding or misinformation that's going out into the public can be rectified if some questions, simple questions, were just answered here at the meetings. One of the questions that was asked last meeting was well, let me go back. The first meeting, we were told that there were 210 units with 4 to 6 bedrooms. Then the second meeting, it came back, and no, we all misunderstood here, that it's not 210 units, it's duplexes, which that word was never used at the first meeting. So now it's duplexes, which have, the first floor has 2 bedrooms, and the upper floors have 3 to 4 bedrooms. That's still 6 bedrooms. But now it has the advantage of 2 kitchens.
Just because we did clear this, I think you were at the second meeting, we cleared this up, because you made a good point. I even stopped Mr. Carbon to define that. There are 210 units, 105 of the units are 2-bedroom.
Right.
Then there are separate units of 105 that are 3 and 4-bedroom.
Right, but
Okay.
no one ever answered the question whether one person could buy the downstairs unit and the upstairs unit. Therefore, it would make a 4 to 6 bedroom unit if they could buy both with 2 kitchens.
Well, it'd still be 2 units, though, you know, if they, on the tax records, even if they bought, if someone bought two parts of it, it'd still be 2 separate
Right.
tax units.
Now,
and
what
two
I
separate-
don't understand is, my home is just about a mile down the road off of Pascack Road. Our development's only about 20 years old. The development across the road from us is about 15 years old. My home is a 6-bedroom home. It's on a half acre. The houses across Pascack Road are on a 1/3 acre. If the builder wants 4 to 6 bedrooms, why not build 4 to 6 bedroom homes? Why does it have to be 12 units on an acre? Why not keep it the same? It wouldn't be as large of an impact as he's planning. I have some pictures here that I brought. The first is, I know it's not the same builder, but this
We
is...
can help you hold them up if you'd like.
This is a similar... Thank you. This is a similar picture to what the developer showed last time. And last meeting, it was said that the lower unit was going to be 1,200 square feet. It was never answered what the square footage of the upper unit was going to be, nor whether it was going to be a 3 or 4-story building. This is a 4-story building. Every single square inch of it almost is blacktop or cement. Homes would allow at least a front yard, a backyard to absorb some of the water.
Stop. You're showing us a picture of a project that we built. That is the Ramapo Local Development Corp. Elm Street project, and you're wrong. Over 60% of the property is parkland and dedicated wetland protection. There's a park there, so you're wrong. And that's not a duplex. That's a 12-unit building there, and it's a different zone in a whole different area.
So it's 12 units. What's different about this 12 units versus the
That's
12 units that are going to be built?
That's 12 individual units in one building. That's a project that has 11 buildings and 132 units. And each one of the 11 buildings has 12 units. And it's not all concrete, and It's a very beautiful site, and it has a
Okay,
park.
let's go back.
There's a dedicated park there. For about the coverage on that is
It
is
looks
only
like a
40%.
city to me. When we moved up here, we moved to a suburb. This looks like a city apartment building to me. It's 4 stories tall.
It's in Clarkstown, right around the corner, too. Do you want to, like, continue on, please? I mean, we're trying to listen to everything, but you're comparing things that don't even meet the different zones.
This isn't a very good picture, but I just wanted the Sunday after we went to, we were here last. We went and we took a ride and took some pictures. I just wanted to show you that this is the Pascack Brook on that property. It does have water in it because the picture that was shown by the developer last time did not have any water in it. And if I remember correctly at the meeting, maybe I misunderstood, I thought he said that a DEC impact statement wouldn't be needed because there was no water in the brook. So I wanted...
I don't think that's what he said, but I do remember him saying that at times it was intermittent at certain parts of it. But, and we'll be glad to put both of those pictures into the record for you if you'd like, okay?
The next...
Or all the pictures that you have. We'll be
Okay.
glad to-
The next picture is a picture of a development up by Lake Suzanne, which is in Ramapo. You have so much building going on right now, you can't, this shouldn't be allowed. There should be dumpsters, the sidewalk is blocked, it's unsafe, it's unsanitary, and if you can't control your builders now, I think you should stop this extensive building that you
Just so
have
you know,
going
Donovan,
on.
you're talking about a totally different, that's a 15C zone. That's a much different zone.
I don't care what zone it
and
is.
we
That
have-
should be allowed, that trash out on the street? Where is the dumpster?
can't see the
Isn't it a requirement that a builder with building material put the building material into a dumpster?
That's Spring Valley.
Could have been a big
Time when the garbage didn't come.
What?
Supervisor, I'll drive to Clarkstown and find a house.
Right, that's not isolated.
I know it's not before Passover for holidays. Yeah, it's probably Pesach. Well, actually, well, no, because they got the boxes too.
So Lake Suzanne is in Spring Valley?
I
No,
didn't say that.
no. Parts
That's-
of the
that's by
backside,
Lake
the
Suzanne.
backside of Lake Suzanne is in Spring Valley, in the village of Spring Valley, yes. But that portion right there, I think, is in Ramapo. And I don't know if it is a garbage day or what, but it doesn't typically look like that.
And my last picture is of Lake Suzanne. Notice the sign right next to it, which says, "Keep our community clean." I have submitted to you 2 emails with addresses that present this problem. This is at the beginning of the Pascack Brook. We don't need more high-density housing to put that trash.
That looks like it's on the day where they're picking up recyclables. It's cardboard and...
But I have
recyclables.
2 pictures. You want to see 2 different dates? Yeah, and you're supposed to bring your garbage cans in. Not leave them out
Okay.
forever.
We'll be glad to submit your pictures into the record, and you can continue, Donna.
One other item that was brought up by the gentleman who is the second landowner, he brought up tonight that the road that would be used for construction is in his part of the property would be off of Pascack Road. Now, we took a ride that Sunday, and there is a little concrete bridge. I have a very small Volkswagen. We got out of the car and actually walked across the bridge because we were concerned that it might collapse under the weight of my car. So I don't know how he expects to get construction vehicles over that bridge safely.
Yes.
He's not building on the other side of the bridge.
He's tearing down the houses. He said he was tearing.
You have the wrong area. The area I'm passing is the area that he's tearing down the houses. The others are part of the Muncie lumber submission. It's not getting access for this at all. There'll be no crossing that bridge, period. The bridge will probably not remain.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up, and we'll get an answer for it. Thank you, Donna. Next is Margaret Comer. Margaret. And then Gail Moggio. Number is this?
It's 10.
Your microphone.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Good evening, Supervisor St. Lawrence and the members of the Town Board. My husband, Jim Comer, fought desperately as a homeowner president to give quality of life to all homeowners in the development. He fought to keep the border closed due to the safety of the homeowners from flooding and using our area as an outlet to and from the Hale area in Spring Valley. It's time to give the residents a break after 4 times in the same battle. This area by the border was designated parkland by Bernard and Kelly in 1987. The brook runs north from Ramapo through Clarkstown, through Orange and Rockland, easement to the tunnel on Pascat Road. Under Forest Brook Road, there are 2 tubes by my house, which is a main concern from flooding. These tubes are continuously blocked, causing the water to come uphill onto the embankment. Even though they are cleaned often, they are continuously blocked by the garbage that comes down from the brook upstream in Ramapo. During the rainy seasons, May through the summer, when it rains heavy, it is like the rapids, clogging the tubes with mattresses, tires, professional waste from builders dumping upstream. Since we are the lowest point, we are in danger of being flooded. At one time in the 80s, there was a barrier between the brook that slowed the current and the garbage downstream. With this extra water from the new buildings, the pressure on the brook will cause flooding and corrosion to the homeowners downstream. Orange and Rockland cut down trees on their property and left it there. It has the potential to go into the brook and block the water. This means that the water will back up and come upstream, and the tubes will be blocked. Most owners maintain their property as it is their investments. Forest Brook Road is on a steep hill and a curve in the road. Drivers lose control. We have had cars going into mailboxes, 2 in the month of October 2014. The excess traffic is a potential for a serious accident. I hope that you consider the danger of the extra traffic by not opening the border. Please consider the homeowners before you approve this project. This is our investment. Okay, I want to take the time to thank the town of Clarkstown for supporting us and making sure I was here to be heard. Thank you again.
Thank you, Margaret.
My name is Gail Mojo, and I live in Clarkstown on Clark Drive. No one has taken into consideration anything about our volunteer services. Our firemen and our ambulance corps are stressed out as it is. By adding all this additional, you're making more chaos. Take into consideration the last 2 fires that we've had. They're illegal housing, illegal dormitory, We can't have this. Our firemen are stressed as it is. You're continually bringing our firemen into harm's way. Eventually, what's going to happen is we'll have no volunteers. And then what's going to happen? It's going to be $1 million a man to get a fire department started. You people have to start to think what you're doing, not just what you want or somebody else wants, and you're going to approve it for them. The other thing is, I never had flooding. I do now. And that's when Forest Brook was put in. You're going to put additional housing and more flooding. Every time we have a heavy rain, I watch the creek come into my backyard and into my house. Would you like it to be your house? Would you like one of your kids to be the volunteer fireman or the person on the ambulance? I've ridden the ambulance for 28 years, and I've been stressed out. Think about what you're doing to your volunteers in this community. It's a long haul.
Thank you, Gail. Alfred Thompson, and then Robert Romanowski. Okay, Robert.
It's Robert Romanowski, 183 Maple Avenue, Muncie. At the last meeting, Supervisor St. Lawrence, you stated that this housing will be available to everyone and that there are federal laws that prevent housing discrimination. Since this is the case and leads to the possibility of public and private school students living here, a thorough examination of how this zone change will affect the East Ramapo School District needs to be done. 1, public school students. You must need to find out, or I did, I contacted the East Ramapo School District and I found the public school path that the students will be taking. This is on a, they call it the, I have it right here. It's called the School Organizational Chart. And for this here housing development, the public school students will start at the Kakiak Elementary School building for kindergarten. They will go to the Summit Park School for grades 1 through 3, the Kakiak Elementary School for grades 4 through 6, grades 7 and 8 will be at the Pomona Middle School, and grades 9 through 12 will be at the Ramapo High School. How many students would be attending public schools in the East Ramapo system? At what grades will these students be entering the school district? Here are questions that the board needs to get answers from the school district. Classroom space. How much will class size be increased over what it is now? Are there enough desks and chairs to accommodate these new students? Are there enough current textbooks available for the new students entering the district? Is there enough cafeteria space to accommodate providing lunches? We already know that Ramapo High School is already overcrowded. What about school aid? New students are not aided the first year. Aid begins in the second year. How will this affect an already financially stressed school district? A good education is fundamental to a person to become a productive and contributing member of society. A K-12 education prepares a student with the building blocks needed to further their education at a college or trade school. Now, with the private school students, there is something called the combined wealth ratio. This is the percentage of public school students to private school students, and in the East Ramapo School District, since there are so many private school students, it unfortunately misrepresents East Ramapo as a very wealthy district, when in fact just the opposite is true. How many private school students will be living in this housing development, and what effect will that have on the combined wealth ratio of the East Ramapo School District? Busing. How will the required busing of both private and public school students affect the busing budget line of the East Ramapo School District? All of this information on this zone change needs to be furnished to the East Ramapo School District so they can provide this town board with a written response on how they will be able to handle this influx of new students, along with how an increase in students attending private schools will affect the combined wealth ratio. You, as a town board, cannot consider downzoning this property if the school district is unable to provide the students who will be residing at this location the education that they so rightfully deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Romanowski. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? We will not be, come right up. Come right up and state your name and address for our clerk, please.
My name is Marcia Greenberg. I live at 7 Ruston Lane, Nanuet. It seems to be my pattern. I sit here all night with no intention of speaking, and then I listen to the comments, or in some cases, the no comments. I appreciate the other party asking for adjournment of this public hearing tonight. However, the reason that their engineer could not respond to us is kind of ludicrous, since there have not been any responses directly to this group. There have been changes, there's been manipulation of data, but no responses. I also have some concerns about the applicant that did address this tonight. I don't know if this housing is going to be for rent or for purchase. What is his intention? Of course, we talk about an RG2, which is for garden apartments. I live in a zoned RG2, which is down the block from there. We're 5 acres, and we're 25 homes, not 22 units on basically being built on 1 acre.
I think you said 3.5, but 2
Well,
acres.
2.5 is not being
2
developed.
acres was going to be green space, right.
So
Correct.
we're
You're correct,
putting
Marcia.
22 units on 1 acre. Okay? Presently, with a rough count, I give him an estimate of 18 bedrooms in his current situation. He is going to increase that to 66 bedrooms. That's not just an increase of 9 units. That's almost tripling the size of what is presently there. Many people have talked about, and myself, about the 1-lane tunnel, but nobody is addressing the 4-corner stop sign on Mirror Lake and Pascack Road. And apparently, the other development will be exiting right on this stop sign road, this intersection. This should be part of the consideration of the developer to put in a traffic system there, and not one like we have down at the Spring Valley Marketplace, which is hazardous to anybody trying to get through there at all hours of the day.
That's a good point.
We've addressed many questions about East Ramapo School District. We all know that busing, even if these children attend private school, busing will have to be paid by the taxpayers. I've also concerned that all of these units are being used for residential use only, that we don't have small businesses being developed in these units, and also that they're all taxable units and on the rolls of our towns and our county. I'm sorry, just...
Take your time.
Yeah, the developer tonight stressed that there'd be 1,050 square feet on each floor. Now, in a garage space of 1,050 does also allow for additional bedrooms to be put in once you put in your smaller cars. So we're now talking about a possibility of expanding to an extra bedroom in these 3-bedroom units. I really don't understand how we can't see. I'll rephrase that. I have not been able to find the minutes of any of these meetings on your Town of Ramapo website. I tried today. Maybe I'm not going in the right place, but where it says minutes, there's nothing there. I'd like to know how to get minutes of these meetings. I'm very concerned about finally hearing some answers to these questions. And I hope down the end that the applicant tonight isn't planning to sell his portion of the property to the other developer. And now we have a really huge situation going on there.
Thank you, Marcia. And thank you, Marcia, for your comments. Come right up. And anyone else that would like to speak? As I said earlier, we are not closing this public hearing. We're going to continue this public hearing, and we'll adjourn it to our next meeting date in February or
January 28th.
Is that soon enough, or is that enough time for, we still need to receive the Part 3. We want to be able to look over the traffic study, the updated traffic study we just received. So why don't we put it into the meeting in February? What is that, does that?
I think it's February 11th. The only, I just want the board to be aware, we will probably be scheduling a public hearing that night on fire districts and also, I forgot what it is. I think we have one other public hearing. That might be quick, but that
Okay,
would
so
be the
what
same
we'll
night.
do, if we have other public hearings, we will have this public hearing first, so people won't have to sit through a public hearing that they may not be interested in on the fire district. So we will adjourn this meeting tonight until February 11th at 8 o'clock, and we will start right up with this again. Yes, did you? And all the reports and everything, Michael, the reports that are submitted in, would you explain that?
Yes, all the the petitions that the town received from the two landowners and their supporting documentation, and all the documents that are submitted as evidence at these hearings over the last two meetings, as well as tonight, are all on file in the town clerk's office. So you can access them by a FOIL request. And with regard to minutes, maybe Mr. Sampson can address when they're available.
As a matter of fact, those minutes are on tonight's agenda to be approved, then they'll go online.
Okay. So-
On our website,
You can go on ramapo.org,
ramapo.org.
and you can follow the prompts, and you'll...
It's on the supervisor. You click supervise, and then there's a link to minutes.
And that's for the last 3 meetings.
Yes.
Aren't the meetings approved at the beginning of every meeting?
That's our first item that we're doing tonight after this public hearing. It's on the agenda.
They haven't been posted yet for the last 2 meetings.
Right, we're actually putting, well, maybe because of the holidays, maybe Chris's office may have been a little light on staff there. I'll let him say that. But the very first item on the agenda are the last 2 meetings, the minutes. So they'll be on. Chris, you'll have them on by tomorrow morning?
They should be on by the end of the day tomorrow. I'm not sure what time they'll
Okay.
go up with them.
So they'll be on by the end of the day tomorrow, okay? Okay, so we are adjourning this public hearing until February 11th at 8 o'clock. I want to thank you all very much. And we'll see you then. Thank you. Thanks, Dan. continue with the meeting now, so you're welcome to stay, and just bring your conversations into the hallway.
There was change. Actually, Congress, I mean, in the 1980s, there was a Workforce 2000 projects that sort of predicted all of what we're seeing in terms of the relative size of immigrant population.
We'll talk. Okay.
Latino.
Thanks for your time. Yes. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I thought that Dan Ross was telling me his wife Claire, her son was rush hour. So I probably have a wrong image in my head of who Claire's son is. So I have to call them and correct it, or at least find out what it really is. Okay. What's his name? Barry.
No, Don Douglas, that was from your,
Maybe that's what he was saying. All I hear is questions.
add-on that you went to Bill.
Now I wonder if
Did you
Take care.
You got the thing I gave you, right? Okay, the first item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes for the regular meeting of December 10th, 2014.
Charles.
Moved by Charles, seconded by Withers. Deputy Supervisor Withers, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. Next item is acceptance of the minutes for the regular meeting of December 18th, 2014.
Charles.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. Next on the agenda is our town attorney, Mr. Klein.
The first four resolutions involve the approval of different agreements. The first of these is for an agreement with Air Cool Mechanical Contracting, Inc. to continue for 2015 servicing of the HVAC system at the Joseph T. St. Lawrence Community Health and Sports Center.
Moved by Councilman Ullman, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously.
The next resolution amends the pilot agreement that is entered between the town, the school district, and the village of Montebello regarding the Raymore Flanagan property.
Charles.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously.
Each year, we enter into a agreement with Cornell Cooperative Extension for educational services. This approves the agreement with Cornell retroactive through 2014.
Charles.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, second by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously.
AMI Services, Inc. is the subject of the next resolution. By this resolution, we'll enter an agreement by which AMI will be providing HVAC services for Provident Bank Park.
Charles.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No,
Opposed?
I'm not going to vote for
It
that.
passes 4-1.
We have been using the firm of O'Connor Davies, Munns and Dobbins for a number of years to do our audits. We've received a new proposal covering 2 years, and this resolution approves that proposal for their auditing services.
Moved by
Charles.
Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
We have 3 settlements of tax certiorari matters on next. The first of these is Ramacoy Acquisition Company. This involves tax years 2010 through 2015 and involves a town tax refund of $267.97.
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by
Charles.
Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
The next
Carries
property
unanimously.
involved in a tax certiorari matter is the former AT&T property on Church Road, which is now used as a church and a school, and this grants a tax exemption to the current owner, Pascack Valley Learning Center.
Charles.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by
Friedman.
Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously.
5 Twin Holdings is the owner of property on Twin Avenue in Spring Valley. This settles the tax certiorari matter for 2010 through 2012 and results in a tax refund of $462.69.
Withers?
Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers,
Charles.
seconded by Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
We have a request by a landowner at 10 Nesher Court who wants to expand the building on that property to move an existing drainage easement. This has been reviewed by both our Highway Department and by our Department of Public Works. The new easement will actually increase the capacity, and the landowner will also be doing some off-site drainage improvements. So this resolution accepts the abandonment of our current easement and the acceptance of a new drainage easement.
Moved by Councilman Ullman, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously.
We've been advised by our planning consultant that there's a redundancy in our zoning law and our scenic roads law, which requires actually two different architectural reviews on certain projects. The next resolution sets a public hearing date for an amendment of the scenic roads law to avoid that duplicity in architectural review.
And that will be on February 11th, 2015.
No.
January 28th.
It will be January 28th, excuse me, I'm sorry. Why does mine say February 11th?
We've corrected that.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, there's a corrected one. Moved by Councilman Ullman, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the permanent appointment of senior clerk French Creole in the tax office.
Charles?
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. And item 3B is to accept the resignation of an assessing clerk 1 in the assessing office. Moved by Councilman Ullman, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda, we've done that covers all of the personnel items. This finance is an amendment to the 2014 budget for the County of Rockland DWI overtime grants, and I believe that is in the amount of $6,080.88. Moved by Councilman Ullman, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. The next is the agreement for a garbage, trash, and recyclable collecting in unincorporated Ramapo with our present contractor, which is Interstate Waste Services.
Charles.
Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. Reappointment of our planning board alternates. Moved by
Charles?
Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. Next is the reappointment of our Community Development Advisory Committee. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. Next is the reappointment of our golf course members. I did ask that member in Clarkstown if she wanted to be on the board. That was Susan Latre, and we could add her name on there as well, if it's okay with everyone. We are okay?
Fine.
So we'll add that name on. I'll get you the resume and pass it out to everyone. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by
Charles.
Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Reappoint the Commission on Ethics Committee members. Moved by?
Charles? Withers,
What are we doing with Kathleen Davis? Is she?
Yeah, she did resign.
Okay.
Why should she ask not to be reappointed?
Okay, so we're just going to reappoint at tonight's meeting as Valdo Santana from.
She is the education member,
So we need to, we'll have to get an education member for the next one. Okay. Moved by Councilman Ullman, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Next is a holiday exchange of Lincoln's birthday.
Charles.
The CSEA is requesting an exchange Lincoln's birthday for the Friday after Thanksgiving. Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by
Friedman.
Councilman Friedman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries unanimously. Cancellation of our town board meeting tomorrow. We had a town board meeting for tomorrow. That will be canceled. Moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, seconded by
Charles?
Councilwoman Charles. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Next is the appointment of a delegate and alternate to the Association of Towns. I will be the delegate, and would you like to be, Brendel will be the alternate.
Thank you.
Okay, moved by Deputy Supervisor Withers, second by Councilman Ullman. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Next is the,
We have one new business item.
oh, yes, we do. I'll hand it over to you. The problem is that they're occupying a space in the, I believe,
The basement.
with no other access out, and we should immediately get an injunction, with an injunction to have them immediately leave that premise.
It's been in justice court for... Yes,
Fire
yes,
safety.
that's the reason.
That's the reason?
So, if I may...
So-
Okay.
Is this 2015?
Yes, so there's a situation at a residence. I'll let the council speak about this. They're in justice court. We feel it is a fire and safety issue, and we are going to have a resolution to immediately go and ask for injunctive relief by the Supreme Court. Council, I'll let you explain it.
Yes, we have a zoning prosecution in the Justice Court for the property at 32 College Road, Muncie, New York, where the basement is being used as a place of public assembly, where it is deemed by our building department to be unsafe. This is not simply a zoning violation which can be cured. This is a health and safety issue which we've been advised the board should immediately take action. And the owners of the property have thus far not been cooperative with the building department in ceasing the use or getting the deficiencies cured. So therefore, we are asking this board to permit my office to commence an injunction action. The passage of the resolution itself may alleviate the problem, but if not, then we'd like to be in court as quickly as
I'd
possible.
be glad to move this. Who wants to second it? Councilman Ullman will second it. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously. Do we have any other new business items?
No, that's it.
Okay. Public participation. Anybody like to speak? Come right up. Good evening.
Bill Weber, 16 Rose Hill Road, Montebello. I just have one quick question on the, it may be a point of clarification for the town attorney. On the resolution labeled 2014-556, which was passed on December 18th, the second to the last paragraph where it talks about, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Rambo Finance Department is authorized to transfer funds and increase and decrease appropriations for the 2014 town budget. That's pretty clear. On the last paragraph, it also goes into and says, be it further resolved that the Finance Department is hereby authorized to transfer funds from any town fund to any other town fund to fund necessary town expenditures, with the funds being transferred to subject to an interest rate equivalent to the current bank rate. I noticed in that paragraph you didn't label, or you didn't note that it's for 2014. Is it?
That would be for 2014.
That resolution is restricted to
Yeah.
2014.
So it was passed on the 18th of December, that expired at the end of the year?
Yes,
Yeah,
it would.
it's purely for end-of-the-year transactions. It expires for that calendar year.
Okay, so
Yeah.
for 2015, it doesn't come into 2015?
It does not at all,
There's
Bill.
no authority?
No.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And just so you know, Bill, on the Raymore and Flanagan pilot agreement, because it's in your village too, in Montebello, that will result in a $50,000 increase in taxes to the Ramapo Central School District. Okay? Good. Okay. Motion to adjourn? Moved by Councilwoman Charles, seconded by Deputy Supervisor Withers.
That was a motion to close public participation.
Yes, it was. All those in favor say aye. And motion to adjourn by Charles and Withers. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, carries unanimously. Thank you very much, Mr. Sampson. We are adjourned.